to know that we care about the people that Castro murdered.
This is our struggle, the struggle of all Cubans for a free and democratic homeland.
The surviving Brothers to the Rescue joined hands in prayer before flying with a dozen other pilots to the shoot-down site. Cuba calls Brothers to the Rescue terrorists. Basulto and his group have violated Cuban airspace before to drop anti-Castro leaflets over Havana.
Brothers to the Rescue is not going to close doors. We're going to continue with our mission, and the mission is not to help only rafters, but to help a nation reach freedom through acts of civil disobedience.
All planes and boats in today's memorial were monitored not only by the Coast Guard, but by the U.S. military. The Air Force sent F-15s and F-16s to South Florida to join Navy warships on standby.
Our role in all of this is to support the United States Coast Guard and be ready for anything they might ask for, and we're just sitting here and waiting to see.
There were promises from both Cuba and Cuban Americans that there would be no trouble today. The weather ensured that. The weather was not a problem here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, where thousands have come to pay tribute to the dead pilots. The shoot-down has galvanized the often fractured Cuban community, and many are recommitting themselves to forcing democracy in Cuba. Carla Davis, ABC News, Miami.
This is Mark Potter in Havana. The response from the Cuban government seemed rather relaxed today. Late this morning, a Cuban Navy boat filled with international journalists set sail from the Havana harbor. It was escorted by 4 Cuban Coast Guard boats. For much of the afternoon, they patrolled several miles inside Cuba's territorial waters, but none aboard saw anything of the flotilla or airplanes from Miami. In the city itself, a small carnival for children drew more attention than the patrol boats, as most people just enjoyed the day off. The Cuban government had promised to act with utmost restraint. Unlike other crises, there were no anti-American demonstrations, although some residents argued over Cuba's downing of the aircraft last weekend. This man said the pilot should have only been warned away. But this man said if the Cuban exiles return, they should be shot down again. In an interview with Time magazine, Fidel Castro took responsibility for downing the planes, saying of Brothers to the Rescue, "They harassed our Air Force, violated our airspace, dropped leaflets on our capital, and engaged in other constant acts of provocation." Officials here are aware that Cuba must now live with the consequences of its actions, including the likely passage of the Helms-Burton bill, which will tighten the U.S. economic embargo. But for today, the Cubans were trying to contain the incident, responding, but not too forcefully. Mark Potter, ABC News, Havana.
We'll be right back.